Mindfulness of the ignorant mind. Begin by finding a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down. Let your body relax and settle into stillness. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or allow them to soften. Gently bring your attention to the breath as it flows naturally in and out. Allowing your awareness to anchor in the present moment. Now, gently shift your attention to the mind itself. Begin by observing the habitual patterns that arise. Notice how the mind tends to drift into stories, daydreams, or repetitive thoughts about the past or future. This is the default mode network at work, the part of the brain that supports self-referential thinking and mind wandering. Without judgment, simply observe the content of these thoughts. Perhaps they revolve around me, your identity, your desires, your fears, your plans. See how easily the mind creates a narrative about the self, as though it were a solid, unchanging entity. As you watch the mind create these stories, you might notice feelings of attachment, wanting certain things to happen, or aversion, wanting to avoid discomfort. These are natural, but they are rooted in ignorance, the belief that happiness lies in clinging to or rejecting certain experiences. Can you see how these patterns of thinking arise automatically? How the mind continuously spins stories, often unconsciously. Notice how these habitual thought loops obscure the present moment, keeping you locked in a cycle of craving, attachment, and aversion. This is the mind caught in ignorance. Now bring a sense of curiosity to these thoughts. Begin to ask yourself, are these thoughts solid? Are they real in the way they appear to be? Can you notice their impermanent nature? Watch how a thought arises, stays for a moment, and then dissolves, only to be replaced by another. Recognize how the thoughts about me are constructed moment by moment, a stream of passing events, rather than a fixed, unchanging truth. This is an essential insight. The mind that clings to these self-referential thoughts is the ignorant mind, mistaking impermanent mental events for permanent realities. Now, gently shift your attention away from the stories and thoughts themselves, and instead rest in pure awareness. This is the mind without ignorance, the space of clarity that exists beneath and beyond the automatic narratives. Can you sense the openness of the mind when it is not caught in grasping or rejecting? Just as the clouds part to reveal the sky, let your awareness rest on the spaciousness that remains when thought subsides. As you rest here, in this open awareness, notice the quality of the mind. It is clear, calm, and free from attachment. You are not identified with the thoughts that arise. They are just passing phenomena. This is a glimpse of the mind without ignorance, free from the delusion of a solid, separate self. Recognize that the ignorant mind and the mind without ignorance are both accessible. The key is mindfulness, the ability to observe the mind without becoming lost in its stories. By practicing this, you begin to shift out of the automatic mode of ignorance, disengaging from the default mode network's habitual self-centered thinking. As you begin to draw this practice to a close, bring your attention back to the breath. Feel the gentle flow of air entering and leaving the body. Remember that, like your thoughts, each breath is impermanent, a reminder of the ever-changing nature of all things.